Okay, I just wanted to show you the technology that went with this. We set this up today. We had sofa and chairs, and then we have carpentry, finishing, and upholstery. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit. So here's the constraints, right? And if you graphed it and did corner points, this is what you'd have. But we're going to go ahead and do the simplex method. And so let me pull this up. Here we go. So when we set up our initial matrix, right, we have our most negative column. So again, I added my slacks. So I have x1, x2, my slacks, my z, and then, you know, my numbers are kind of out here at the end. That kind of jumped on me, but those guys. And so again, I like to write in all my initial stuff and then put in my diagonals of 1 and then my numbers over here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use technology to solve this. So I'm going to go in. If you go into course content, it's right here at the top. Okay. And I went ahead and typed it all in already. Let me see if I can make that just a tad bigger. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see if it likes it. All right, I might have to make my smaller. So let's see, why isn't it? Let me get a little bit bigger. Well, this is strange. Let me pause a second. All right, sorry about that. I had to find a way to pull it. All right, so what you can do is x1, x2, and you can change the name. So I typed over these and did that. And then if you want to off to the side, you could put their names too. All right, so we're looking for the most negative. Everyone okay, negative 90. And if I do the ratio, 66 divided by 3 is 22, 180 divided by 9 is 20, 200 divided by 2 is 100. So this is my lowest ratio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pivot arm selection, and I'm going to switch to fractions. Now, if you do your pivot at home and you want to check your answer, do you see how you can just multiply by the denominator and check? So this would be 0, 2, multiplied by 3 would be 3, negative 1, 0, 0, and then 6 times 3 is 18. Here my denominator is 9, so I'm going to multiply by 9. So this is going to be 9, 4, 0, 1, 0, 0, and 20 times 9 is 180. If you want to check the next one at home, you take it times 9 because that's your denominator. So 0, 82, 0, negative 2, 9, 0, and whatever 160 times 9 is. And then the bottom row is fine. Now, see how we still have pivots here? All right, and so we got to be a little careful on this. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this so we can do the math a little bit together. All right, so I'm going to take my most negative row, which again or column, and I only have one of them, right there. And we're going to do the ratios. And so when you do the ratios, you have to be super careful. You're going to take 6, but when you divide by a fraction, you got to put it in parentheses. So 6 divided by 2/3. So 6 divided by that 2/3. And again, if you have a calculator, you can do that, but I believe it's 9. So, you know, if you want to use a calculator, great, but then you have to make sure you put that in parentheses. Otherwise, you will get the wrong answer. All right, so that's going to be 9. Okay, then you're going to take 20 divided by 4/9. And again, if you want to do fractions by hand and multiply by the reciprocal, you can. I believe that one's 45. And then what's my last one? 160, and I have no idea. So 160 divided by, what is that? And again, put in parentheses, 82 ninths. So I'm going to do that on a calculator. 160 divided by, and then again, you want to group your fraction, 82 divided by 9. So that is 17 point something. 17 point blah, blah, blah. So my lowest ratio, it appears, is a 6 divided by 2/3, okay, which is my 9. So I know my pivot's going to be here. All right, so I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to leave. And as I'm going to come here and select 2/3, and I'm going to pivot arm selection. Now, again, if you want to check your answer at home, multiply through by the fraction. So my denominator is 2, so multiply by 2, 0, 2, 3, negative 1, and 18. Here I have a fraction of 3, so this will be 3, negative 2, 1, those zeros stay, and then 48. Here, multiply by 3, 0, 0, negative 41, 13, 3, 0, and whatever 78 times 3 is. Okay, and then the bottom row I double because I have a fraction. So double, double, still 0, 105, negative 15, 0, 1, and so forth. All right, everyone see I still have a most negative row. So I'm going to make a new screenshot. So right here, and this is my, negative, right? I got a negative here. So I'm going to do those ratios. Now, you can't pivot on a negative number, so just skip that. 16 divided by 1/3. So 16, and again, if you're going to use a calculator, oopsie, sorry, that doesn't want to make a nice one, but 1/3, that's going to end up be 48. And then you want to take what's my next one? 78 divided by, and again, put it in parentheses, 13/3. So if you take 78 divided by, and again, 13/3 in parentheses, okay, I get 18. So it looks like my 13/3 right here, let me highlight it. It looks like this one gives me my lowest ratio. Again, you cannot pivot on a negative number. So I am going to pivot on my 13/3. So I'm going to go right here and I'm going to pivot on selection. All right, now the positive of using technology is it divides for you, right? So like you don't have to divide at the end, usually you do. Okay, so again, if you did this by hand, you could multiply through by like 26. Do you see how 26 is your denominator to make it better? But the nice thing is I can read off this answer. So x1 is what, 10? X2 is a basic variable as well. So that goes with it. And of course, 18 divided by 1 is 18. So if you use the technology, it's already divided. Slack 1 is ugly, so we set it equal to 0. Slack 2 is basic, it's kind of nice. So again, 18 divided by 1 is 18. And slack 3 is ugly, so again, we're going to set equals 0. And then Z, what we're trying to maximize, is right here. And again, dividing by 1 is not going to do anything, so 2250. All right, so what does that mean? Well, I think it was chairs first, so I should make 10 chairs, 18 sofas. I'm going to have none of this left over, whatever that was. I can't remember what that was. Assembly, I don't know. We'll look it up. We're going to have 18 hours of whatever that was, all right? And then I think maybe finishing, and then we're going to have 0 hours of upholstery left, and we're going to maximize profit right here. Okay, so I can read off my X's from this, my slacks from this, and then my Z from this. All right, so let's go back and look at the original. And again, the reason I know I'm done pivoting, I have no negatives in the bottom row. All right, so let's go back and look. All right, so our maximum is right here, 1018. Okay, so I should make 10 sofas, I guess, 10 sofas, 18 chairs, and do a maximum profit of $2,250. And my leftovers were carpentry, finishing, and upholstery. All right, so whatever I had left over is going to be dealing with that. So if I go back here, again, I think it was sofas first, chairs. Do you see the 10 and the 18? And then here's my max. And again, those leftovers, none of that left over, but I had, 18 hours of that left over, none of that. So you can kind of go from there. So I know that I had 18 hours left of whatever the middle one was. What's the middle? Finishing. 18 hours of leftover finishing. I used all my carpentry hours. I used all my upholstery hours, but I had some finishing left. And again, see how my max matches what the graph said. All right, hopefully that helps with the tech, and I will see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.